Hello everyone, thank you very much for being with me today as we give you the update on the saga of Ethan Fussell's murder. And I noticed that Stacy decided to work and be here on her birthday, so happy birthday, Stacy. Let me remind everybody as I bring you up to date, Ethan Fussell's 21 years of age, and on May the 7th he went missing. I've already talked about the fact that he came from an absolutely, totally wonderful family, that as a 21-year-old, he was growing up and he wanted to leave home because, you know, those rules at home were for kids. So he moved out with some friends and unfortunately he befriended the wrong person. We looked for him and we were praying that we'd find him alive. We still haven't found Ethan Fussell, and today we're going to give out more information so we can get more help and bring you up to the current status of the case. We continue to compile evidence against our suspects, and we have every reason to believe, as I said in the past, that Ethan is deceased, that he was murdered. That he was murdered by what he thought was his best friend. They referred to each other as brothers. But Ethan is a good kid, and he got in with the bad, wrong crowd, and it cost him his life. So I told you before that we had arrested Talon Page, first on June the 2nd, and then he bonded out on a minor arrest, and we rearrested him with Adani, his friend. The two of them we believed were responsible for the murder of Ethan. So we talked about these are bad guys. He's got 11 previous felony arrests, 16 misdemeanors. Adani's got 41 felony arrests, 26 misdemeanors. In fact, Adani had just been out of jail out of prison about a year on a 3.5-year stretch. So we arrested them for tampering and accessory after the fact and put them in jail. Last night, our detectives added the charge of first-degree murder for both of these men. Why were they charged with first-degree murder? We have found video evidence of them beating Ethan. We found video evidence where Ethan was beaten severely. We're not going to further describe that just to spare the family. We have explained in detail to the family what we're saying publicly today. We also charged him, both he, meaning Talon, and Adani, with 2 more counts of tampering with evidence apiece. So the charges continue to stack up. Now we have them charged with capital felony murder because of the evidence my detectives, who are simply the very best, along with their leadership, put together. It's important to point out, as I've said many times, in the last 15 years, there's 2 unsolved murders in this county. And of those 2, on one of them, we know who did it. We just couldn't get the witnesses to cooperate. And so that case wasn't brought. But if you come to Polk County and commit a murder, we are going to find out who you are and arrest you. And once again, that's what happened here. But along the way, we made other arrests. And I want everyone to understand clearly and unequivocally, this investigation's not over. There's room in Gradytown for you to be arrested. And if you don't know what Gradytown is, it's the county jail. We're going to arrest more people for hiding evidence, tampering, accessory after the fact, if they don't cooperate and help us out, so you can be a witness or a suspect. Well, these folks decided that they would be a suspect. This is Crystal Dowlingo. She's 24. She's Adani's girlfriend. She's never been to jail that we can find. She worked at Chili's on Hardin Boulevard in Lakeland as a server. In fact, we arrested her at Chili's on June the 3rd. where we charged her with tampering and false report to a law enforcement officer during a capital felony investigation. She is locked up in jail. Now that was on June the 3rd. On June the 4th, we went back after reviewing the videotape that we got, the evidence, where they've recorded beating our victim, Ethan. And we charged her with tampering with evidence, an F3, false report, an F3, and accessory after the fact to capital murder, an F1. Now, Crystal is trying to protect her boyfriend and her boyfriend's friend that committed the murder. Crystal is facing 40 years in prison. Then there's Autumn. Autumn Thomas is 25. She's Talon's girlfriend. She's never been arrested. She's not employed. We arrested her originally on June the 3rd for tampering with a witness, which is a third-degree felony. And then we came back on the 4th and added accessory after the fact to capital murder, and that's a felony of the first degree, and false report of a crime. She's facing 40 years in prison. So she's trying to protect her boyfriend. They actively helped what we believe in the disposal of Ethan. What's important about this is I don't know if they think we're playing. We're not playing. Go ahead and stay attached to the guy who's fixing to spend at least his next life in prison if the state attorney doesn't choose the death penalty. Because you too, ladies, can sit in prison for the next 40 years. And we're going to do everything in our power to make sure that you do that. You've gone from no arrest to 40 years in prison. How does it feel to be an accessory to the murder of a kid, a 21-year-old kid? So, you don't want to tell us about the murder? You don't want to tell us where Ethan is? Just set your butt in jail. But as sure as I'm standing here talking to you today, this investigation's not over. We intend to find Ethan, and we intend to return him to his family. His family deserves that. Now, we know there are other people out there that have information, and if you're not scared to death after hearing me talk, you should be, because we're coming after you too. But there's a simple way out of this. If you heard something or saw something, say something, call Crime Stoppers. All we want to do is find Ethan and return him home. We don't want to lock you up in jail, but we will if you've had any part of this murder or the aftermath of the murder, hiding people, giving false information. Now, there's a lot of things these young ladies did that we're not telling you about leading us down the wrong path, sending us the wrong ways, playing games with us. Hey, girls, how you like the game you're playing now? It's called a jail game. You want to give us more bad information? You want to lie to us some more? You want to intentionally lead us away from your boyfriends? Your boyfriends are in the same jail. Well, no, you're in one jail and they're in the South jail, but they're in the same system and you'll never be together again. Because they don't mix boys and girls in prison. We need some help. This car belongs to Talon. It is a 2000 Lexus 400. It has extremely dark windows. It has a sunroof. The tag on it is CC02IL. CC02IL. It has a Florida tag on it. This car was last seen on May the 13th at 4:30 in the afternoon going eastbound on Interstate 4 in the vicinity of Lakeland. This car is missing. Ethan is missing. After they beat Ethan to death on Driggers Road in a mobile home, they cut the carpet out. So we're confident that Ethan is more than likely wrapped up in this carpet, possibly in this car, maybe not. So this car may be on the side of the road. It may be sitting in a busy parking lot. It may be in a busy parking lot in an airport. It may be in a cranker's backyard. It may be scattered who knows where. We don't have it yet. We'll pay for this car. We'll pay $5,000. $5,000 if you'll call Crime Stoppers and tell us where the car is. You don't have to get involved. If it's in your backyard and you call Crime Stoppers and you cooperate and say, hey, it's in my backyard, come get it. That's all we want. That's all we want. But if you mess around until we find it in your backyard, or you mess around till we find you moving it after listening to this social media today, we're going to be on you like a cheap J.C. Penney suit. That's a guarantee. Help us find the Lexus. Help us find Ethan. Help us find that large piece of carpet that's cut out. They cut the carpet out and took Ethan away, and he's hidden someplace. We got there with a search warrant, and we cut the floor out, complete with the bloody stains that went all the way through the carpet into the floor. So we got the floor of the mobile home. Somebody else has got the carpet. Help us. Let me remind family and friends of Crystal and Autumn. If you didn't murder Ethan, you're not our primary target. We want who murdered him. If you helped your boyfriends, I'd love, we can talk about that. Or you can go to prison for 40 years. But I would suggest that you ladies come off of it. And there's others out there that have knowledge that we just haven't gotten to you yet because we've been kind of busy. Our investigative unit has over 1,000 hours, as we said the other day, in this investigation. Let me make something abundantly clear. If it takes 2,000 hours or 3,000 hours or 4,000 hours, we're going to do everything we can to find Ethan. We need your help. Any questions?
Where did the videos come from, Sheriff? Were they the cell phones belonging to somebody suspect?
Yeah, we don't want to tell where the videos came from, but don't you think it's pretty stupid to murder somebody in the first place? Don't you think it's real stupid to record it? Well, I'm grateful they recorded it. It just made our job easier. And I won't tell the way and the place and the locations, but our detectives are magical. They're the best. You come to Polk County and you murder somebody, we're going to find you and arrest you and prosecute you because Brian Haas at the state attorney's office with his homicide team's the best.
Sheriff, in regards to the vehicle, will you be searching any waterways, lakes? Because it could be in the water.
Absolutely. There's 550 lakes in Polk County. So where do you start? But yes, we're going to search waterways. But it'll be a lot easier for us if somebody will just call Crime Stoppers. Listen, Crime Stoppers is not run by the sheriff's office or any law enforcement agency. It's an independent group. You call Crime Stoppers. You give us this information. You're given a code number. And then we find the vehicle. We'll be back on television and on social media go, aha. Then we call the code number into, there's a system where I say we, Crime Stoppers calls it in, and then you go pick up your $5,000. We don't know who you are. Quite frankly, we don't care who you are. We just want the car, and we want Ethan. More so, if it's one or the other, give us Ethan. Okay?
Can you say how many people were at the house that night?
We don't know all of the people that were out the house. We know there were 4 or more, and we're working on information and witnesses that can clear up some of that.
And one more question for me. So there was a second location where the suspects went to burn
Hide.
items?
In Mulberry?
To burn items?
No, to burn items, yes.
Yeah. Can you say where exactly that was, or?
We checked 2 or 3 burn pits, and then we found absolutely no evidence of any items.
Burn pits where?
Burn pits in different locations. I'm not sure which locations, but we searched out the burn pits or the fire pits and didn't see any evidence at all. I think that got into the Cranker network with a lot of social media chatter.
I just asked, it was mentioned in the affidavit.
Yeah, we searched it, but, okay. Folks, we appreciate your help. That means a lot to us. And I want everyone watching this to think, if Ethan Fussell were your son, or your cousin, or your brother, what would you want someone to do? You'd want them to help. Well, if you have information, pretend it's your family. Just call the information in. We've got the capital felony murder charges made. We got them made. Now we're just trying to get Ethan home. Okay? God bless you. Talk to you soon.